Hey, this is Vu, and today I'm going to be talking about how to play on pistol rounds. And now this is something that I've made in the past, and it's actually one of my most popular videos from the past. However, the game has changed, and the meta has shifted, and my videos are at least 3 times as not as bad as before. And so I thought I'd make a refresher video, hopefully give some new information, and put this one out as well. So heading right into it, the most important thing to remember here is that you cannot play pistol rounds as rifle rounds. You have to be adjusting your gameplay. And I see a lot of people head into games and they try and play exactly the same as they would with a rifle, and it's just going to get you dominated, especially on the CT side. I'll go over the T side a little bit later, but on CT side, you can actually think of it, if you're a rifler, as a little bit more like an opper might play around. You might see an opper come to an angle, post up on the angles, try and get a pick, and immediately fall off and do the same thing back here, or he might go on a platform or whatever. However, you may see an opper do this on Dust 2, but what he's often trying to do is find as many angles where he can find an entry pick as possible, and that is exactly what you're trying to do with a pistol. What you absolutely don't want to be doing is forcing yourself into scenarios where you can't fall back anywhere. A good example might be Pit. However, there are of course worse examples. This isn't a terrible spot if you've got a crossfire, but it's a spot where you really only have one engagement that you can take. They come out here, you take a few shots, you can try and contest this as long as you can, and then you're stuck back here with really a pretty poor engagement. You want to be playing angles more like this on the corner here. You come out here, or you can play right on the corner. You can take a few shots, you can quick peek back if you want, and then you can fall straight back over here and take a second engagement. What you're really looking for is as many engagements as you can, where you can catch them running straight around a corner. You know exactly where their head is, and you can try and get that pick. A great example might be up on Cat here. You can peek towards lower tunnels, or you can peek towards mid. Engagement 1, you can maybe peek back here if you want. That's engagement 2. You can fall back, peek back here, 3, and then you can come over to plat and peek back here. That's 4. You can get 4 clear engagements, and as many of those engagements as you can, you're really just giving yourself more and more chances to find that quick one-tap entry frag and move on. And just the pre-aiming is all you need in those scenarios. Now, once you actually get into the gunfights, all you're really looking at is point-click aim. You're going to be flicking back and forth, trying to hit an enemy that's trying to not get hit as their main goal. And this is why oppers tend to be, from what I've seen, a little bit better on pistol rounds than riflers, because they've got that point-click aim down. Of course, riflers, usually when they go into an engagement, they can be pretty comfortable missing the first shot, a lot of the time at least, and they can just bring that into a spray and they can hit their second shot, slow them down by hitting them with that second shot, and finish them in the body. Where, of course, at opper, they're all about point-click aim. They're point-click aiming all over the place, so they might be a little bit more comfortable on pistol rounds when they start out. However, it doesn't really make that much of a difference so long as you can adapt your playstyle, like I said, to try and get as many engagements as possible while still falling back and posting up for more. Now, the last thing you really need to recognize about CT pistols is a little bit specific, but it's something that a lot of players that have played a little bit longer probably already noticed. When you shoot an enemy that has no body armor, they actually produce more blood than an enemy that has armor. And this is something that you should be noticing. If you ever miss someone and shoot them in the chest, if they have armor, they may as well be a floating head. You cannot try and kill them in the chest just about ever. However, if you accidentally shoot them in the chest, or you happen to hit them in the chest for some reason, and you see the excess blood come out, that means they have no body armor, you should instantly peek out and spray them down. The aim punch that they're going to get hit with when they don't have a gun that can actually spray is just insane. There's about a 0% chance someone without head armor should ever be able to kill you if you recognize that and then spray them down, giving them that aim punch. You should win that every time. So I've put it in the video here. Of course, you can see you give out a little bit more blood when you don't have body armor, so you should be able to recognize that, practice it a little bit, and find it out for yourself. Now, heading on to T side, what you really want to be doing on T side is rather than focusing on getting the actual kills, you want to be focusing on getting as close to the enemy as possible without giving them any chance to actually kill you. And there are a few ways to do this, but the two most effective ways are actually, if you think about it, smoke grenades, and this is something I see very few people think about. Smoke grenades can often work to your favor on T side because on CT side, the thing that makes a smoke really strong actually is the fact that you can sit here with a rifle, they'll jump through, and you get the easy spray down kill on someone jumping through, and then you can transfer over and kill all of his teammates because you've got plenty of bullets to work with. However, when you're on CT side with a pistol, and this is something that, you know, higher level players, they recognize this and they play differently around a smoke, but a lot of lower level players will throw very, very weak smokes that you can easily abuse this with, where they'll throw a smoke and you can easily jump through it because he's not going to be able to land the first instant headshot on you more than, 1 in 20 times, and he needs to, because if you jump out and your teammate jumps out half a second later, he at best can get one of you, the other guy's going to trade, third guy might trade as well. He's going to be in a terrible situation, and I see this happen most often actually at B apartments on Mirage. Now, the type of smoke I see people throw on this map, there's actually two of them. The first one is they throw it a little bit too far out here. So again, there's a very wide stance where terrorists can actually jump out either to the right or to the left. So you have a very bad situation here actually trying to get the picks. And if a terrorist just kind of sits in the smoke, tosses a right click through and jumps straight through with it, there's a very low chance you're actually going to be able to get those kills unless you have a 5-7. So that's a smoke you definitely don't want to throw. The other one I've seen thrown a few times is something like that, and that's actually even worse, as now they can jump out of the window or they can jump out of here. Generally, as a CT side, you never want to be throwing smokes where they can jump out a wide variety of angles. And on T side, if they throw a smoke like that, you can try and exploit that if you want, especially if you think it's thrown because, they're a little bit weaker, instead of that they're waiting on the other side of it with a 5-7. I mean, even then you can really flash through a lot of the time and find some pretty good success, especially in matchmaking when it's more likely the former than the latter. Now, the final thing you really need to know about pistol rounds is actually the movement. And I kind of call this the clown movement because it really is pretty ridiculous. As I said earlier, when you're on T side, your goal is rather to get close to them to land those RNG headshots with the spammable gun rather than to actually shoot them. I know it seems kind of counterintuitive, but more often than not, you're focusing on not getting killed by the laser beam gun than you are by actually killing them with your gun, even though the Glock is actually fairly strong. In a lot of scenarios, especially this transfers over to matchmaking and pugs, where a lot of the time you're kind of running out in no man's land with no real support. And so a lot of the time you want to be trying to do the clown movement, and that is strafing back and forth, and crouching up and down. And it's absolutely ridiculous and it's absolutely dumb, but it absolutely works incredibly well because basically what you're doing, making them flick all over the place. They're going to be missing a lot of shots. You're moving to the left and the right, back and forth randomly, and you're also moving up and down. It makes you very, very hard to hit, and eventually they're going to run out of ammo, which means you can push up very quickly as they're out of ammo, especially if you have teammates around you, and you can get into very good positions as they run out of ammo in their low ammo capacity guns. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped.